Hi and welcome everyone. This is Lavender Sky Panther and I am back. It is still Friday, August 13th, 2021, but I wanted to make sure that I could get this show out on the heels of the Uncharted show that just came out earlier today. And this one is show number 107 called Lightning in Quotes 2, Epic Nightcraft Sky Show. It's a collection of images happening on a very specific phenomenon, a standalone phenomenon that I'm going to cover that happened on August 6th. So let's get into it. And before we do, I'd like to say good day, osio, how, buongiorno, guten tag, kia ora, jambo, kedu, buenos dias, bonjour, ni hao, dzień dobry, konnichiwa, dobrohonia, annyeonghaseyo, boa tarde, dobry dan, aloha winala, kalimera, hudenda, and good day. And this time we're going to do another round of combining the welcome and warm greetings page with that of the words, wisdom, and spirit of the day. I am just going to do a straight up read on these, reading the little paragraphs I've outlined here. And just know that I've selected some cards specifically for this show coming from the Daily Crystal Inspiration and the Mystical Shaman or Shaman Oracle decks. Now I love the quote-unquote coincidence when pulling these things. It just goes overall so nicely, dovetails so nicely with the overall theme of this show, since we're covering, just a very strange cloud. I don't know if it actually rained. It looked like it could have, but we've got the Rainmaker, and then we have Epidote as the crystal or mineral, and I just love the way she's like, doing her thing in front of this disc, and it's got even the same color ranges as this Epidote crystal. Anyway, let's get into the meanings here. So number 42, the meaning itself, I'm going to refer you to go check out a site called Angel Numbers Joanne Sacred Scribes. If you type that in on an internet search, you can type in any number. You know, a lot of people see 1111 or a few 2s or 3s or 5s together and want to know what these things mean. That is a great site to go and check it out. All right, so back to it. So number 42 in this case, according to her site, says, set your intentions and make sure they are clear and concise. Then release your expectations and allow your angels and spirit guides to set up signposts and synchronicities for you to notice and follow. Then we have Epidote, and the message there is go deeper. Epidote comes from Greek epidosis, meaning additional or to increase. It's a stone of attraction in accordance with one's highest good. And apparently, I noticed there's also an incense with the Epidote scent. Epidote scent. Someone once said Epidote to me, and I can't get it out of my head. I think that actually suits the stone better than Epidote. But anyway, I'm not sure what's in that scent, but I bet it's pretty interesting. If anybody else has tried that before, let me know in the comment section below if you like it and what's in it. Then we have the overall meaning for the Rainmaker. I'm just throwing it out there that it's interesting. You know, we've got set your intentions here up for number 42, and of course you have to do that if you're going to manifest rain or any abundance. So it's setting the intention and manifesting the abundance through focus, power, or moving of energy, absolute knowing, or joy celebration, and or other expressions or frequency alignments, and other energetics, or a combination of all of that and more. Anyhow, let's get into this really exciting anomaly and thing that I noticed on August 6th. So here we're looking west, and I just started to see this once again artificial cloud assembly happening. Oh, and I didn't mention, I'm sorry, whether you're new or returning to this channel, thank you so much for being here. I'm not going to go through my typical intro for anyone who's new. Do check out some of my previous shows for that. I go into detail on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I will just say for now, I just take original photos, and then I also show an enhanced version to kind of highlight some things happening in the photo. And all I do is take the original and edit attributes of the photos, such as color, saturation, brightness, and contrast. That's it. So I take the levels and I move them up a little or down a little, and then we see a whole new world of interesting things happening in the photos, as you'll see. Anyway, so again, if you're new returning, thank you for being here, and let's get into this. So I have cloud in quotes because I am suspecting there's cloak and craft going on in here, and you'll see why as we get into it. So just this is all to say that I'm noticing this very artificial overall assembly, and I say that because this stuff, through experience, like watching the skies intently every day for the past 3 years at least, noticing a new wave, so to speak, a new brand of cat here popping up as far as a cloud. And it seems very artificial. It pops up locally, and it gets this weird frayed edge. It starts to fan out and spread out pretty quickly sometimes. And it just feels weird, too. The consistency of it is not that of a normal, traditional cloud. And so we look at it with some enhancement. I was just looking because I could pick up a little bit of different, lighting coming up, kind of backlighting in here. It just felt weird, and it has a weird texture. So this is doing something very different than what this is doing, splaying out this way. Again, just overall strange. It was enough to catch my attention. So as I was moving through the city, I kept looking west and noticing what it was doing. And the interesting thing about it is it just stayed parked here for over 40 minutes. As you'll see coming up through the show, we're going to get into some nighttime skies with it. And so I was just noticing how it's catching the color. And it's no accident that this thing is setting up shop and just parked right in front where you would normally see the sunset. And I do encourage you to look at other Earth and Sky watching channels on YouTube if you haven't done so already. And you'll notice this is a phenomenon happening all over the world, where there's either a big gray blanket of this thick consistency stuff that feels very like artificial cloud, that just quote-unquote coincidentally moves in on cue right in front of the sun, whether it's a sunrise or sunset, so we can't see exactly what's happening. And there's a lot of reasons why that's happening. Again, if you look at some of my previous shows and other Earth and Sky watching channels, you'll see what's going on there. Anyhow, it just, stayed there too, which was really strange, because any typical cloud system would either move one way or the other, or backward or forward, and this thing just parked, literally. So we're going to take a look at it with some other, little progression further in time. And here just noticing, how it's just really catching some of the colors. So yes, some of this could be coming in from catching whatever it's obscuring beyond, but I think also it's kind of self-illuminating in some cases, and you'll see why I say that later coming up. And so we're just zooming in. I'm just noticing the weird character of this perimeter, this profile edge. It's very different in character than this stuff welling up, and this is kind of going vertical or on angle, and it's very different from the rest of the material around it. And just looking at some of the color once again, looking to see if I can see any more clues of what might be happening in there. Didn't really come up with much. Then I'm moving along in the cities, just getting different views. And again, this thing is just parked there. And at this point, it started to flash some little lightning flashes. And I just noticed there were no bolts, and all the flashes stayed immediately contained within this thing, this overall thing. And so here's with a little enhancement. We see we're starting to get a choppy nature in here, and that's what I like to call staccato cloud. And that, to me, says that there's cloak and craft involved, and that it's sending out either electromagnetic wave activity or some other type of energy waves to create this disturbance, just very local. Everything else is in focus, and to the human eye too. But then you just notice certain areas with this cloud and cloaking material, I'm going to say, it gets really choppy. And then here, look, we've got like a stick-like element, very pure, straight line. And over here too, there's like a stick-like thing popping out. It just looks, like there's highly suspect of having cloak and craft in there. After looking at these, through the years too, I'm noticing it. Now this thing is starting to fray out. It's starting to kind of sprawl out here and fray out a little bit. The edge is looking really weird and ragtag and artificial, and I cover that in other shows such as Rim Watching 2. Just starting to look weird. And then I was starting to notice some flashes, so we're going to get to those in a second. So we're just getting that last little flash of whatever this whole overall thing is hiding as far as the sunset supposedly happening beyond. So anyway, here we go now. So I've said this whole thing is like one big self-contained thing, just parked there and set up shop and stayed there for over 40 minutes. And there were just lightning flashes, no bolts. So that was very suspicious. So we're going to take a good look at it. But all of these little clues are telling me that it's an epic night craft sky light show happening with cloak and craft going on in here, as you will see. I'm going to kind of run through this part without talking much. I want you to focus right in this area, though, on every single photo. You're going to get flashes happening over here. But in here is where we're going to see it. Just looks like lamplight or studio lights. It doesn't look like, you're not going to see little bolts fraying off, those little, skinny bolts or anything. It's more like, a solid ball generating light. So have a look and let's get into it. Here we go. Now look at this. We start to see some like elliptical objects and shapes. Look at that. That's not a bolt. I looked at this. This is all taken from video, by the way, and these are stills. I encourage you to do that too. Just if there's a lightning storm and you're at a safe distance away, so if there are bolts, you don't get hit. But just hold up your camera phone or whatever device you have to record, and then just do little short segments of video and try to catch the flashes. And then all you do is put it on pause on the playback and then go frame by frame, just swipe very slowly, and you can catch moments like this. And so when I looked at all the moments before and after this precise moment, there were no bolts. This was just like one big flash, like a light, a circular light form. So anyway, we'll keep going. There's a straight line here, which is a little strange. And that's flashing over here again. Does anyone see any bolts? I'm being a little facetious. I don't. I just see stuff welling up. And again, with normal lightning activity, you have a bigger cloud system above that's shooting stuff down and all over the place, not something self-contained. So that's why I say I'm suspecting this is an overall craft with maybe multiple other craft within it, doing weird stuff with lighting. That's looking very interesting. Right here is an object with pointed ellipse. And this is backlighting. Those aren't bolts. There's a round object. Looks like a light. Weird stuff happening in here now. Big white flash that doesn't even look like lightning. That looks like an LED light. And again, it's emanating from below somewhere, not above, shooting out, in all different directions. Weird stuff happening in here, backlighting like a disc, like an elliptical shape. Okay, now for some close-ups. So I'm going to do some enlargements. In this case, if you're seeing this on a laptop screen or something larger, it's going to look very bitmappy. You might want to look at this on a handheld device if you can, smaller format to see things more clearly. Otherwise, if it's on a bigger format, you might want to squint your eyes a bit to see things. But I do have in the lower right-hand corner, I've tagged it where I took the detail originally from. So in this case, the previous page 17. And so we're going to look in on that little window where I asked you guys to pay extra attention to. So we're getting this backlight effect, which I love because it always highlights some silhouettes of things and interesting things. So look at this. If you follow my cursor, look at this straight line, and this is a pure triangle, absolute pure triangle. And then we have some weird straight edges happening here. And then this thing looks like it has some design to it, more than just a cloud. It has a very straight edge here along the bottom. So I think there are lots of little floating things happening within this bigger assembly that are individual cloak and craft. And we're just seeing some happy moments where they're, happy opportunities to see that, where they're backlit from whatever those flashes are. Then we see this little window, and again, this seems like it has a little bit of a structure to it. So to me, that could very much be a cloak and craft, not just a little bit of cloud within the cloud. And then here it gets really interesting because I know it's kind of fuzzy and grainy, but I wanted to really focus on this part. There's a weird object that's kind of bent and curved around the front. We see better glimpses of that in other photos. But here we just have it's like a stage light, It's not bolts again. There's nothing flashing out of it. And it's not like the origin, of the light that flashes right before the bolts. It's too big and it just seems steady, like a stage light. See what you think though. All right, here's another interesting view. Look at this thing, this form bent over here. I don't know, it just seems like it has designed little knobs and nubs like on the top of this thing. I don't know, it just does not feel like this is just natural cloud happening in the back. It's too well formed and it's got straight lines to it. And then I'm not sure what's flashing and happening here. Just very interesting. Okay, here's that weird bent shape. Is this like an independent little cylindrical craft here with a trail behind it and something else happening here? Possibly. But here's where that lamp, that just orb of light was, and now something's interfering in the front of it. And again, these seem like objects. These aren't just, haphazard little cloud forms within the cloud. They have density to them. That's why they're being backlit and looking like objects. Okay, this one, it's a little fuzzy, but again, I think on a smaller device you'll be able to see it better. But here, the color signature is different. It goes in a greenish direction, and everything else is of a warmer family of hue behind it. And then here, this is a really straight, straight edge here, straight at the top, straight down here. It even looks like it has grooves or stripes on it. So I'm going to say, there are things in here that are also cloak and craft or some type of tech. Because natural clouds don't have these straight edges. Then this one, we have like a end of a pointed ellipse here. Just some strange things happening in here as well. Just got that feeling, that spidey sense, that sixth sense as well, that something of tech or, design is happening back in there, not just haphazard cloud. So see what you think with all of that. This is the photo of the day, or at least of the show, because I already had another show today. So I just want to say thank you for letting me float some things by you here a while with this show. And this is a beautiful scene. This is an older photo taken at a tourist attraction in Miami, Florida called Vizcaya Museum and Gardens. Anyhow, it is the weekend where I'm at. I hope it is where you are as well and that you're enjoying it. Have a gorgeous now, and know, as always, I wish you tremendous peace and love. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.